Yo, 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 Big Kish back up in here. Look, man, we got fantastic hip hop reporting on another story about Drake canceling his tour, and it's getting really bad. Before we get into that, y'all make sure y'all pick y'all up a copy of Street Dad, Geek Dad, Avoiding the Manufactured Mindset, written by me, Big Kish. The link will be in the description for purchase. Appreciate everybody been supporting the channel, supporting the book. We about to get into this because don't nobody know who was chasing him. Was it the lies catching up to him, or was that Pinocchio supposed to be Kendrick? I say it's the lies catching up to him, and we about to see that. Somebody lying. Y'all know I'm like holding y'all. Without further ado, let's get it.
Now, when it comes to Drake, well, now, if you're ready to see how after a week of drama and chaos all around the Drake A Wish Foundation circus that they are trying to call a tour, finally, after all the lies and deception from Drake and his team, an entire tour just actually got canceled? Be sure to leave a like and subscribe, and now really, as what we are about to look at and discuss today is going to be bad, and no matter how anybody wants to spin it, well, Drake is now
So it's a lot of evidence out there pointing to Drake alluding to his health. I think something going on with his health, y'all. Something's definitely going with his health. Look, man, you can't sit up there and be using all of these you can't say the Zempic word no more on YouTube. That's what I heard. But you can't be using all of these things and expect to be in top tippity tip top shape. You can't do it, bro. You gotta work. You gotta work for that shape, man. You gotta work for that health. You know what I'm saying? You can't be using these machines and all of that stuff and think that you're gonna be in good health. It don't work like that.
Failed to complete the shows that he promised to set out on? Well, some people are not gonna like this, and it is gonna be an emotional one for them, because really, while already Drake's Some Special Shows for You tour with Party Next Door is already struggling, well, now with this already, it's already looking like nobody wants the tickets to these shows, and they are already starting to be canceled and shuffled around in terms of the
You kind of knew that it was gonna be canceled from when he was when he lowered the ticket sales.
Dates and scheduling to try to avoid the inevitable, which of course is that Drake is about to get ran out of yet another set of shows. Well, now, aside from these current mess of Spice shows that Lawbury wants all of these Kendrick Lamar obsessed people to come out to and sing OVO themed karaoke at, well, before we can see how much trouble that's all in, when it comes to the first failure that Drake made on the global stage when kicking off his I'm Scared of Kendrick Lamar world tour, well, now, and just like the 50 plus songs that Drake wants you to forget about before he started this whole Iceman rollout, but if we want to look at the failed tour he did before the failed tour that he is on now with the Anita Max Win series of concerts, well, now, unfortunately, back to that, after Drake wrapped up the tour where he was walking around with holes in hoodies to try and counter the move of Kendrick Lamar's Super Bowl halftime show.
So this is like a little wrap up or something. This is like a wrap up. It looked like he got some tweets up in here too.
Because again, this is how rational and reasonable people respond to this, which of course is with this. Well, somehow, and I don't even know how this could have happened, things have gotten much worse there, as if we remember, Drake literally had such little motion during this run of shows, that after struggling so terribly after Kendrick changed rap music and the course of art forever at the Super Bowl, well, things got so bad that Drake quote-unquote postponed the final four
He said he postponed them, then he canceled.
Shows over there, but what they said exactly was that this tour was not actually canceled, but that it was just going to be moved back to a later date because travel logistics could not be figured out for a tour that they had to plan months in advance for, all because of the travel logistics, because of course this is Drake and that makes sense. And now, of course, when we heard this garbage lie, we already made fun of this, and we saw
he being sarcastic. So how your traveling logistics is messed up, and you had months to plan for this. You already planned for this. This is already set in stone. Now how all of a sudden it's messed up? Don't make no sense, bro.
Saw that this meant that Drake was failing to fill up arenas and move crowds in ways that he really wanted to, so of course then he just ran away and went right back into hiding. Well, now fast forward to now, and after the OVO stands and Lawry lovers were trying to really convince us that Drake-A-Wish would come back to these shows, and he would be doing weird giveaways while people sang his karaoke and he just walked up and down on stage like the all-time grifter that he is. Well, I can finally, fully, officially, and 100% say to all of them, well, now this is never gonna happen, and what Drake and his team now tried to quietly do, albeit while they are on the road for another series of shows, was finally and officially cancel the tickets that the few people who had the burden of having these Drake tickets on them for months did. And now, after making the announcement that these 4 final Anita Max Win Tour shows were never going to happen, and this is a good one. Let's just read the statement that these arenas who laid away dates for this and got nothing in return had to tell the people on behalf of Drake and OVO, which straight from the Crash Out themselves says, despite extensive efforts to find a solution, rescheduling within the necessary time frame was not possible. And then they went on to say Drake remains committed to returning and performing these shows when his schedule permits.
That don't make no sense. That don't make no sense. They all the Drake glazers don't they always say this? But this is Drake we're talking about. This is like, nah, I can't compare him to nobody that's great. Can't. But he got the money. He got the money. How could you not be able to rent, buy? Don't he got his own jet or something like that? If Rick Ross got his own plane, I know Drake. Matter of fact, hold on. Drake do got his own plane. Hey, yo, stop playing. Hey, yo, stop playing. All you OV hoes, stop playing. Yo, stop rocking with this dude, bro. Matter of fact, we're going to turn this into a whole video. Does Drake have his own plane? What's going on? Yes, Drake owns a Boeing 767 private jet nicknamed Air Drake. Yo, we're about to make a video out of this. We're about to make a video. This is about to be a video, yo. Stop bugging. Let's get back to fantastic hip hop. This is crazy, bro.
And now, obviously, what this means is that Drake is never going to be back here for the rest of his career unless Kendrick Lamar releases another diss track that causes him to hide out on the other side of the world. And so with this mess, and let's remember that these final shows were canceled on February 28th,
Crazy,
and everybody only heard what was going to happen to their tickets 5 months later. Altogether, we are just seeing so much from what Drake and OVO are all about, as now for most artists who do care about their craft, and as a result and extension of that, naturally their listeners and fans, well, most artists would never have their fans out like this and literally have them uncertain.
At least, you know what an artist would do if they was in this situation? They would come out and speak on it. They not going to get no PR. They not going to get somebody else to come out and share a tweet or a post or something like that. They're going to get on that live and explain to their fans, their audience. You get on live any other time where you try and troll somebody with your fingernails and your duck lips. Why not get on live and explain to your fans what's going on? You know why he can't do that? Because they're going to see it in his eyes that he's lying. They're going to see that he's lying.
About these tickets that they got, which are sitting around and there's no date, and they can't do anything with them other than just wait for a refund. Well, this is not who Drake is, and really now what he has stood for is the gold standard for unprofessionalism in the entire entertainment industry, because really, after running away here and hyping up that this was your first tour back in this setting for the first time in almost a decade, well, now to not just run away from it and cancel the tour, but do it the way you did, which included never really facing the reality of your failure and not ever telling people up front. Well, now to not just run away from it and cancel.
I'm about to throw this damn jacket away. I'm about to throw this damn jacket away.
the tour, but do it the way you did, which included never really facing the reality of your failure and not ever telling people up front that the events that these few people who did want to go to were seemingly excited for were not going to go down. Well, with this, I have to say, if you're a Drake fan out here right now, I want to feel bad for you, but I'm not, because you can go see Kendrick Lamar later in the year and he is going to deliver.
Facts. Hey, look, man. I know a lot of y'all Drake stans, you don't know too much about hip hop and all of that stuff. Now's a good time. Get to learning. Go learn. Go to the matter of fact, you could go to the DC. It's a museum, a black museum in DC. They got a hip hop section. Go over there. Go learn some of the history of the hip hop and all of that stuff. You know what I'm saying? Go understand where this come from. B-boying, breakdancing, graffiti, all of that, spitting, rhyming. Understand, you know, you might enjoy yourself on the way. It's more than Drake, man. Life is so much more than just Drake. Yeah, come on, y'all.
And a million times better show. But seriously, for the loyal Lawbreeze who have sat through an entire year and more at this point of the worst fall off in hip hop history in terms of legacy at the very least. Well, now after supporting and standing with somebody so far that you have seemingly separated yourself from rap's reality and very ethos of why it even exists, and then on top of that, you don't just not like rap music anymore probably, but you're supporting the most mid and boring music for him. Well, now after the fans who have stuck around and they are the only reason that Drake still has any sort of motion because he has lost every single other thing he ever had going for him, well, even now with Drake treating them this bad and just showing no transparency or professionalism whatsoever, I mean, I don't know how you can defend this guy, because really to just drag this out and then to try and hide the cancellation from people and hope that nobody would see it and pick it up, well, you gotta try to do better than this. And Drake, we are not going to let this slide, because just like you told us, this time we are following through and letting everybody see who you really are, which is just the clown and grifter who lies about everything, and even without any mind for the goodwill of his own fans, just to benefit his own selfish and petty self. Really, once again, what I will say to all the Drake-a-wishes who are sitting here and getting fed up with me covering this entire mess that he has created and this fall-off that we are never seeing look worse. Well, first off, Drake is the one doing these things and failing to—
Exactly. There you go. He hit it spot on. He hit it spot on. He's the one that's continuing this, man. Why are we talking about this? Iceman episode. All them shots you was throwing in the Iceman episode. We gotta talk about it. You're keeping it up. You're keeping it up. Now, if you would have came out with something that ain't got nothing to do with the beef, we probably still would have covered. I ain't gonna lie. It's like, nah. But the stuff that you be coming out with, hey, look, you be a loose. Pinocchio chasing you. Then you got man, come on, bro. You talk about everybody taking shots at you. Got the ratchets on the ground pointing at you and all of that. Man, come on, bro. You still keeping it up, boy.
Time and time again, so take this up with him. But really now, whether you want to say that these shows were canceled due to low ticket numbers, which now I don't think that it was this exactly, but I do think it was that the tickets were up for so low that Drake was not going to get what he wanted from them, and then it wasn't filling up in total, and he didn't want to deal with the optics of playing in a half or even a 3/4 full stadium. Well, now whether you want to say it was this, which I do think it partially was, or it was that Drake got lazy on this tour and wanted to go home and run away because he realized he would rather do a quick run as an influencer instead of trying to compete with the king of rap and Kendrick Lamar. Well, again, no matter what you want to believe and what you want to see, to be honest, it doesn't matter because Drake canceled and the message is already sent, but really, either way, with the reality of why these shows were canceled based on everything we know, I do think the truth is somewhere within both of these things and a little more, and what I ultimately think really did make Drake decide that he was never going to come back to this place. And then ultimately following it up for these shows that he is doing now, he would only go to arenas where he felt he would never fail with the SSS for You tour, is really just seeing the success and acceptance worldwide of Kendrick Lamar, which really got bigger than ever after the Super Bowl and took hip-hop to entire new heights. and even also with the run that Luther had, especially after what it did to Nokia, in terms of just being one of the biggest #1 songs we have seen in years, and really just with Kendrick winning so much. All while at the same time, Drake has been doing these lame old karaoke nights in a spot that he clearly so wanted to never be in, and then only even went to in desperation to run away from the Super Bowl. Well,
Yeah, that karaoke night looked bad, boy. And you had them white ladies talking about N-word. So yeah, you definitely, you marked out. You X'd out. You up out of here. You up out of here. You lost your little whatever privileges you had on Dennis side. Dennis side of you don't exist no more. You done, boy.
overall, I think we can add another win to Kendrick Lamar's resume because he really just made Drake realize that there is no point in embarrassing himself with these shows and stopped people from wasting their time at these lame old karaoke fests. But really now altogether, between the laziness, lack of care, and the losses that have never stopped coming to Drake and OVO, we are really seeing the full effects of everything that has went down here, which is showing us that we are in a reality now, where no matter how you want to stand for it, Drake has canceled a tour with no good reason whatsoever, other than that he is lazy, scared of reality, and to really see where he stands, and then he does not care about whatever fans are actually out here. And really now, has Drake really tried to cover all of this up while at the same time going to another tour with Party Next Door? Well, overall, this should just be a wake-up call that Drake really does not care about his fan base whatsoever, and really, when it comes to earning his fans' presence or their time, you're really just a number to him, and he doesn't care about how you're moving.
Yo, I can't get over how he almost fell right there, bro. Yeah, you know he got a bad hit, boy. I can't get over how he almost fell. Like, yo, you tripped over your own feet. Y'all watch this last part. He almost fell. Watch this.
And really, when it comes to earning his fans' presence or their
Yo, how you trip over your own feet, man? How you trip over your own feet, boy?
time, you're really just a number to him, and he doesn't care about how you're moving and what it means for you to get to one of these shows and what you may have to do to even get a ticket. And when you compare this to Kendrick Lamar, who doesn't just show up to his shows but gives them everything he has while at the same time bringing together a stronger than ever fan base by going around everywhere and just having everybody come together by celebrating something they love and a musical culture that is so strong. Well, I can really just end this off by saying now that as Kendrick Lamar has broke records in Drake's own city for the GNX tour now, meanwhile, Drake just had to cancel yet another run of shows because things got so bad. I'll ask it again, and a lot of the Drake fans aren't going to like this, but once again, just tell me, who won the beef? And so now with all this said,
Man, is that still even a question? We just went over Waka Flocka performing Not Like Us. Is that even a question? Everybody know Kendrick won the beef, man. Everybody know he won, man. Drake can't stand to see Kendrick doing them stadium tours. Like, this is his worst nightmare. He can't stand to see that Kendrick is succeeding. He feels like, I brought you on tour. I gave you your first hit. I did this. I did that. He still think he's the stimulus package, Drake, and he doesn't understand that whatever effect that he had on people, it just don't hit no more, bro. It's over. He cannot accept defeat, y'all. He cannot accept it. But yeah, shout out to Fantastic Hip Hop. Another beautiful video. You know what I'm saying? As always. I'm going to leave a link in the description. Y'all make sure y'all go tap in. Y'all let me know what y'all think about the video, man. I ain't even going to ask y'all who y'all think won the beef. That's we ain't even doing that. That's dumb. You know what I'm saying? Y'all let me know what y'all think, man. Big Kish signing out. I'm going, y'all.